What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the data points, what really moved it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi went down 5.1%, 26.25 the low, 28.44 the high. But we did see some good volume, so 65.4 million shares being traded, 69 is the average. SoFi did put out news today, and that was this. So Galileo, SoFi's tech platform, joins the AWS Partner Network to deliver scalable payments worldwide. So this is good. Add a lot of good growth for Galileo and of course SoFi. But in my opinion, this isn't what market and investors truly did want. Even though this is good, but I think generally we want to hear about cryptocurrency. And I know I've brought that up time and time again, but it's the honest truth. It adds probably a lot more revenue than this. Even though Anthony did post this on social media, so clearly they were very much hyped up about this, but still, given the fact that SoFi did announce and has been giving a lot of Easter eggs, but they did post yesterday on their social media about cryptocurrency, everyone was anticipating some level of actual news. Because this is something that SoFi has been doing lately, is that they post something on social media, then the following day they put out formal news about it. So even this morning, I was anticipating to wake up to crypto news, but unfortunately we kind of got this. Nothing really wrong with this though, but it's not a crazy reason to buy SoFi, nor is it a reason to sell. It's just more of a good FYI. Aside from that though, the broader market was in a lot of pain. So today was the very first day in a while that we are in the extreme fear category. So in theory, people's appetite for risk isn't necessarily there. And I just want to say this as a reminder, because every time we get here, people freak out and people are panicking. But historically speaking, every time we've kind of dipped to the extreme fear, that is one of the best times to buy. So again, just want to throw it out there. I don't necessarily know how low it could go potentially, or how much fear is going to be driven in the next couple of trading days, but looking back historically, those are good times to buy. But what did ultimately cause a lot of fear was this right here. So we had a lot of the old school brick and mortar banks on Tuesday had all phenomenal earnings. They did also say that a lot of the delinquencies were a lot lower than what they forecasted. Consumers were out there spending the money and making the money, but regional banks. So we're kind of going old school back to 2024. I believe it was 2024, early 2024, when a lot of the regional banks started to crack. And so ultimately, we are starting to see a lot of those cracks surge. So this kind of contradicts exactly what the old school brick and mortar banks said on Tuesday. So this is ultimately what did spook the broader market. At the same time, various other things did kind of cause the market to be on edge a little bit, and a lot of that is just geopolitical. So China, Russia, so Trump did have a extended conversation with Putin today. So a lot of that is just adding to the overall element of uncertainty. So unfortunately, that's one thing that, and many things that did cause SoFi to go down alongside the broader market. One thing that was very interesting though, because we have had a lot of Fed speakers, one individual did say that now the market's fully priced in 2 more rate cuts. And I kind of do disagree with this, only because we haven't really seen any crazy push higher because of that. And the market's been kind of holding their breath at every time Powell speaks, just so they can, or so he can reconfirm that we will be having multiple rate cuts. So I kind of do disagree with this, but because of all the fear, now there's a 3.2% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut for the upcoming October 29th meeting. And then right now a 0.8% likelihood of a following 25 basis point cut for the December meeting. So kind of interesting stuff. Again, a lot of fear is kind of causing all this, but I do kind of tend to disagree that this has been fully priced in. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. Shorts, this is now the 3rd consecutive day of them increasing. So today they did increase 787,000 shares, 9.63% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 113 million shares overall being shorted. And DTC is still sitting at 1.61 days. It's actually starting to go a little bit higher. So that does show that shorts are very overextended. So that does factor in the average volume for SoFi in comparison to number of shares being shorted. So Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Side note, and as well, unpopular opinion, I don't really see SoFi being a squeeze play unless something crazy does come out, but I don't really see that coming, in my opinion. Even if they announce cryptocurrency, I think that crypto's already been priced in now to SoFi stock price. So even if they were to announce that, it's largely known. In order for a squeeze to happen, you need a unknown catalyst, on a side note. But looking at the options, 66 million in calls, 18 million in puts, 49% of all the options being done were bearish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above $28. So good amount of optimism still on the table. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub kind of 26 to 26.50. So a little bit more downside is anticipated. With tomorrow being Friday, just take note of this. So we do have not really much going on here, but if there is a recovery, we have 23,000 at that 27, 28,000 at the 28. I think it's a little bit far-fetched to assume that 28 might be on the table tomorrow, but maybe a recovery to that 27. So something to keep in mind, that if we do get close to that 27 by, let's say, the second half of tomorrow, then shorts might wake up and try to suppress it. We didn't really see that much in, even though we had good volume, we didn't really see any crazy transactions today. So on the secondary market, the largest was 45.7, 10.8, 9.6, 8.6, so a fair amount, I guess. But on the dark pool, this is where we did see relatively a lot lower. So 9.3, 4.2, 2.6. So big money was kind of doing some deals with SoFi, but most of the volume did come from algorithmic trading today. And that wasn't just SoFi, that was pretty much across the board. With it closing at 26.60, it is smack dab in the middle between this pivot and this S1. 25.38 is going to be a strong support, and then 27.10 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So best case scenario, it does close above that. But like I said, you might see a little bit of a battle at that $27 range, and that'll be linked to the options. Aside from all of that though, quickly popping over here, you guys don't need Lucid, so pulling up SoFi. So on the actual chart, it did close below that 10-day moving average. 50-day moving average might be potentially tested tomorrow. Luckily enough, it did bounce off of that on October the 14th. But that is at 25.97. So that's going to be another point to watch for. Looking at the market position for today, you see a little bit comparing the last 2 days. Looks like a lot more willing sellers, especially a massive wall at like that $27.70 to $28 range. So that could be a little bit more restrictive going into the next couple of trading days. And you see a lot of willing buyers up until around that $25.19. So if it does break below that, then you could see a little bit more of a kind of significant pull lower. No new analyst ratings today. So last one was, I think it was KBW that was posted, I think it was 14th on October 14th. And that was them raising from $14 to $18. Still giving a sell rating, but something as well just to kind of keep in mind. Aside from that, there really wasn't all that much in real articles talking about SoFi. So now I think everyone's just waiting to hear about cryptocurrency and as well just optimism for their upcoming earnings. So this is a quick summary of everything that you need to know that really influenced SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to kind of pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.